build show today, coming to you from my house under construction. That's right, we're at the Real Rebuild project. And my gorgeous kitchen behind me is almost complete, but one critical component that really makes it feel like a kitchen is the hardware install. And so in today's video, we're gonna get into some cabinet hardware. We have some door hardware, some really beautiful stuff from MTech. We're gonna show you some cool hardware, but really today's video is gonna focus on some tips and tricks for installing it correctly and doing it right. Today's video from my house, let's get going. Okay, so as we talk about cabinet hardware, one of the first things you need to figure out is where's that cabinet hardware gonna go? I met with my interior designer, Rachel, and by the way, these doors have not fully been adjusted yet, so we're not worried about having these doors fully aligned yet. We will do that in the future, but what we wanna do is make a jig that's not gonna measure from here because that distance might change as we adjust the doors. And this is probably obvious, but we want to measure off the door and just use that measurement. Now when it comes to installing doors, we're going to be using knobs right here. We've got an egg-shaped, pardon me, a round knob, not an egg-shaped knob. Where is that round knob? Here it is. Nope, that's for another location. This is for all the drawers. We're going to be using these on the drawers. Where'd this go, Jorge? There's one right there, right? We've got this, and it's got a rosette on it as well. So actually, we have to decide if we're going to use the rosette. I think I'm going to eliminate the rosette on this and just do the knob. Yeah, that looks really clean and simple. I like that. So when we drill those, we're going to center it on this line and this line, as if this stile and rail were continuing. A couple different ways to do that. One tool that I've used in the past is just a simple plastic jig that you can buy at all kinds of different locations. This jig, this is from my personal tool case. This is a jig that you can simply measure off the side and use the correct hole. So like if this was lined up, you could use the correct hole on this jig. The problem with this is, you can look, I installed some knobs at my rental house. It kind of can get wallowed out a little bit because it's plastic and not be super precise. So what we're going to be using today is this jig. Full disclosure, these guys sent this to me as a sample, and I gotta say, when I saw it, I knew right away, hey, this is a cool jig and it's very precision. I don't even remember the name of it. I gotta find the brochure around here somewhere. But what you've got is really nice, precise markings on the jig. And then each one of the locations where you're gonna screw, or pardon me, where you're gonna drill, has a nice metal bushing on there. So you're not gonna wallow it out. And you can get real precise on the locations for each one of those. So we can center this thing and get it really exact. And then this is going to hold up against the side. This is going to hold up against the side. So let's get this all adjusted and we'll show you what it's going to look like on these cabinets. Okay, so first knob. And I initially thought and talked with my interior designer about draw that line and draw that line and it's center of that. But Jorge made a great point a second ago, which I unfortunately didn't get on film. That's the exact center. It kind of feels like it's a little too close to the edge to me. So I wonder if we should go up a little bit on the triangle. So we measured that diagonal and we're thinking about going up, I don't know, an eighth or a quarter or so on that diagonal. And what's cool about this jig in particular is we could get this, oh, I just dropped it. We could get that jig set up really precisely to that and then be all set. I like that. Yeah, it's just like around an eighth or so over from the exact center mark. And if we make them all identical to that, I think no one will ever know that they're not perfectly on that center and it'll feel right. And now we've got the jig all set. So when this jig comes up here, if I can hold it and film at the same time, we're going to be right on the money on that location. And if you could look through that hole and show it, it's going right there. Okay, first hole, here we go. Jorge's smart. He grabbed the MTech box that all the hardware came in, and he's using that to grab his chips. If anybody from Milwaukee's watching this, you need to invent some kind of attachment that's like a cup underneath that drill that catches the chips and vacuums it and runs on the same motor, so you don't have to have a separate vacuum attachment. That'd be kind of nice, wouldn't it? I mean, that's gonna look awesome. Let's put that first one on just so we can see it, Jorge. We've got kind of a gold theme going on in here, which complements the black faucets in this space. Black trim, this is all Kohler. However, this garbage disposal knob, which I've got in white, is kind of the standard white that it came with, which matched my countertops. Thought about ordering a black one. They're like 6 months out on black ones, so that's why I did that. That looks awesome. Look at that. It's so easy to grab too. I like the rosette. Yeah, definitely. That looks awesome. Good job, Jorge. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, one other thing I wanted to mention was it's nice to have some of this available for knobs or pulls that are not going to be easily adjusted in the future. So for instance, on this dishwasher panel, this is a Miele dishwasher that's got a, it's hitting on something. This is a hidden panel. It looks like that toe kick needs adjusted that we just put on yesterday. Anyways, this panel, the hardware, you can't get to the back of it easily because it slides on, clips on. If this handle got loose, it'd be a problem. So when Jorge and I put the panel on before the installer put it on the appliance, we used some thread locker blue removable. Just standard hardware store stuff. Really wise. Same goes with these handles on the Miele built-in fridges over here. Both of those handles have thread locker on them because those panels are going to get used all the time and they're on there. Now on the other hand, this door right here, if it came loose, super easy, we'll just tighten it up. And of course I could put thread locker on these in the future, but I don't think that it's really necessary on these where we can reach them. But if we find another one in the house as we're installing that looks like either it would get used multiple times a day or it would be a problem to tighten in the future, we're gonna put some thread locker on there. All right, so we modified the box. Look how smart Jorge is. I was like, what's the cut in the box for? Ah, so smart, Jorge. I love it. That is pretty awesome. So this thing is called the what jig? Where's the name on it? True Position Tools Cabinet Hardware Jig. And like I said, they sent this to me free out of the blue. And the moment I opened it, I said, ooh, I think we're going to like this. It's only our third hole to drill, and so far so good. I do like it. Look who joined us, Matthew at the job site. And good timing, Matthew. What do you think about the new knobs that Mr. Jorge just got on? They look
fine.
Not even if they look good.
Well,
these look awesome. I love them.
Somebody was super short, and they couldn't reach it there. But
luckily, you're not super short. You're tall like your mom and dad. These look awesome. I love them. This is kind of cool. Look, Crystal gives you a temporary pole that has their name on it. This is Crystal Cabinets out of, they're in Minnesota, and they have a dealer network across the country. And my friend David Betts owns Benchmark Kitchen and Bath here in Austin. And so that's who I bought through. He's a local dealer. But these cabinets are built and painted off-site in Minnesota. So they come to me pre-finished. And I love a good pre-finished cabinet because then I'm not taking all the hardware off and doing everything at a later date to get things looking good. Which also means that not only the door is beautiful and painted, but all my interiors are painted. The entire inside is nice and pretty. We're about to do our drawers, but check out the door hardware while we're thinking, or the door casework rather. This is, it looks to me like maple drawers, dovetailed, solid maple on the side, which means that when you make a bit of an error in the job like I did, and didn't think about this ahead of time, this is an outlet on the side of my cabinet because I have a pocket door here, and you need an outlet by code every certain number of feet on the countertop, which means that I was able to make this drawer in this manner. I need to clean that up, that doesn't look too good. But we're able to cut it down to fit an outlet in there. And also my Miele induction cooktop is so thin, they were able to kind of cut this down and fit it and make it nice. So knobs are done. Let's move on to pulls, shall we, Jorge? And here's what these look like. Also from M-Tech, matching finish. Hey, while we're adjusting, or while we're putting some knobs on, we're doing a couple of adjustments. And Jorge's going to show me how to adjust these. So these drawer fronts are just screwed on right here in the back with just a couple drawer front screws right there. And all the hard underneath is Bloom undermount soft close. And so if you've got a drawer front that doesn't fit flush, I'm not sure who shimmed these, if the cabinet installer, I'm assuming the cabinet installer shimmed these at some point just to get everything working and looking good. But they're all adjustable underneath, and so we're going to show you how to do that right now. So what Jorge is doing is first he's tightening these screws and getting the drawer front tightened to the box. But you want to double check with these inset cabinets that when they set in place that your reveals are correct all the way around. And so the first thing we're doing is looking for these reveals right here. And so you've got a lot of things that need adjusted because we want this door to be flush and we want the reveal, as it's an inset door, to be correct all the way around. So what he's going to do is just loosen them up enough that you can move the drawer front on the drawer, and then he can get his reveal all the way around the edges correct. And then we're going to show you how to adjust the in-out as well. So what he did was he squeezed right here those orange things underneath there. Once you squeeze those, this hardware comes off. And this is that Blue Motion soft close.
You can adjust that and tighten whatever you want.
Okay, so show me those screws one more time. You loosen that screw right there.
It's just this one here.
Got it. And then you can move it forward
That's
or back.
tight.
Oh, look at that. That's awesome. It just slides right in there. And now you're gonna do that on both. He's gonna do that on both sides. Look at that. Beautiful. So now we're nice and flush. The drawer front's on there. We pull that nut off to adjust it. That looks awesome. This is the bit that came with True Tools, which is a 5mm bit. I think you could also use a 4.8mm, which is 3/16. And notice Jorge opted for the light gun today. This is a M12, and often you see cabinet installers using this because this has all the attachments, and currently his attachment is for the screwdriver bit, but it's got this offset bit if you got to put a screw into a corner, which is kind of a handy little bit. Then it's got an angle, so if you were doing something on the top of a cabinet, you could angle it and turn your drill 90 degrees in whatever, probably in this direction, I suppose. And then it's also got a more standard looking impact bit on the front. And I think you opted for this, Jorge, just because it's really light and makes easy drilling when you're just doing this kind of stuff.
It's still full.
Still full, not bad. That's pretty awesome.
Why are you drawing over that?
He's drilling over that so all the chips will fall in there, Matthew.
No, over like inside. Oh.
See, it's got a metal bushing in there.
Oh, so you can reuse it every single time.
That's right, so you can reuse it. So he just drilled this one, now he'll go on and drill the next one. Okay, Matthew volunteered to put this first handle on, what am I saying? Handle, right?
Yeah.
Handle on. Now this one actually is wider. This one, we got a slightly wider one for our drawer that's going to have all our silverware because it's such a wide drawer. Rachel wanted us to go a little wider. All the other ones are slightly narrower. Okay, so we found a problem. Matthew realized that this is a 3/4 drawer and that's a 3/4 drawer front. So the screws that come with the MTech standard are made for 1/2 inch and 3/4. So they're inch and a half, but we actually need 1 3/4. However, I have a little solution. I like to keep these in my toolbox, and I'm probably gonna have to get more. But these are called breakaway screws, and these go up to 2 inches. So these are what they call breakaway screws. And see how the threads have a blank part of the shaft every 1/4 inch? That's so that you can break them at the correct spot. And we actually need 1 3/4 screws. And so we're going to break off the first nib, and then these will be the right size.
You have super strength.
And
Did not know
now
that.
it's 1 3/4 inches. And now you should be able to put those on, Matthew.
Oh, very useful.
Okay, now see how it's sticking out the correct distance? He's got to do one more for us.
Thank you.
And hopefully I have enough of those, otherwise I'm going to have to run to the hardware store.
I'll run with you.
Builder's First Source is open until 4 o'clock, I believe, today on a Saturday. So we can run over there and grab the correct screws we need from the hardware department.
Now what?
Okay, so now you're going to take your screwdriver right here, Matthew.
What about, can you hold this?
Just do one. Here's what I'd like to do is I like to hold it with one hand
Oh.
and screw with the other. So here, I'll hold it for you, but you screw.
Okay.
So grab that screwdriver. And screw it on the back. There you go. I can feel it. It's starting to tighten. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, now don't tighten it all the way until you get the other one started. Okay, so stop there. See how it's still a little loose?
Mm-hmm.
Grab the other one and get that one in now. There you go. Tighten, tighten. Good job, buddy. Looking good there, Smith Schuster. Who is Smith Schuster, Matthew?
Football player for the Steelers.
And do we like the Steelers?
Oh, yeah.
It's our favorite team, isn't it?
The gold. Should I tie them all the way now?
Yeah, now tighten it all the way. You got it on, so now tighten it all the way. Good, bud. Excellent. Excellent.
Better than using machines.
Mm-hmm.
Machines run out of battery, we don't.
I like to hand tighten these anytime I'm doing hardware because you don't want to over tighten it. You definitely don't want to use an impact gun.
There. Is that good?
Strip it out pretty easily. That looks great, Matthew. Good job.
Feel it, feel it.
Is it tight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that looks great. Now close the drawer. Show us what it looks like. Oh man, look how nice that looks. The walnut. With that gold from MTech.
You can come over here and help me with these.
I love it, Matthew. Good job, buddy. Tip for you when you're using this jig. There's a center hole here, but we're doing pulls which are on the outside. So if we're not using that hole, put a little piece of tape over it. That way you don't accidentally hit that hole. Nice directions, by the way, from these guys, True Position Tools. They've got nice color photos on how to use everything. Using the extended ruler, large handle on doors. Kind of gives some good tips and advice. Obviously, whoever built this was a carpenter or is a carpenter. And here's a couple cool things. So once this jig's set up for mine right here, you can see, you kind of double test it and check it. And then is this hole right here, it's kind of neat. They have taken this 0 mark as the 0 from the hole. And so if I'm down, what is that, 3 5/8 or so from this top, That's 3 5/8 to the center line of these holes. They all line up. They've definitely put some thought and care into these jigs. All right, Matthew, great job today, buddy. What'd you think? Was it fun? Mm-hmm. Matthew did a lot of work. Of course, Jorge did most of the work, but Matthew definitely helped. But this hardware looks really nice. I used M-Tech through my entire house. All my cabinet hardware, all my swing door hardware, my door bumps. I'm trying to think. My appliance hardware, M-Tech. Gosh, even my house numbers are from M-Tech. Really, really nice hardware. I'll put a link to those guys in the description. I've used them a long time. I have a feeling in the comments we're gonna get a lot of, hey, what's this knob or what's this pull called? So here we go, guys. Here's all the hardware that I use in the house and all the locations, and here's the names. All right, Matthew, you know how I close out my videos, right? Guys, hit that subscribe button below. We've got new content every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram, otherwise we'll see you next time on The Build Show. Not bad, dude. I think you could take over this channel someday. What do you think?